Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo. And today I'm reviewing The Marvels, coming to you from Marvel Studios. It's out in theaters right now, and sequel to Captain Marvel. So, what did I think about this movie, and should you be watching? And before we get into this review, get down there, hit like on this video. Yeah, better late than never, I always say. And I know this, I should have done this about a week and a half ago. But, I feel like we've had a good time to kind of let the Marvel's whole conversation sort of play itself out. This is a movie that Lottie and I talked about on the Supercast. We've been anticipating it pretty hotly because it's the next Marvel thing, but we also said, hey, this is probably not going to do that well, especially considering how other comic book movies have fared this year. The two that have done the best, they didn't exactly, they didn't make $1 billion or whatever, and the ones that have done the worst have, barely cleared 150 million. So this is coming out in a weird time, but all that being said, we did, give our thoughts about that on the Supercast. You can check that out there. I want to talk about the movie itself, and was it good or bad? How did I feel about it? And I want to say, just straight, I'm not gonna bury the lead. I liked the movie. Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Is it top tier Marvel? No, it's not top tier Marvel. If I had to say anything, I put on the level of like an Ant-Man 1 or 2, something like that. I suppose you could compare it to Quantumania, but Quantumania was more specifically trying to, talk about various serious matters that are related to the ongoing story of Phase 4 and 5. The whole multiverse saga. And Captain Marvel, the Marvels doesn't really quite play like that. It's got its own story that's sort of following up on the first Captain Marvel, trying to answer some questions about where Carol Danvers has been, introducing movie-going audiences to a couple characters that if you watch the Disney Plus shows, you already know. That's Monica Rambeau and also Kamala Khan, and also sort of having like a good old space adventure, space heroic adventure against a villain that is basically trying to destroy all sorts of stuff, and is sort of unbeknownst to her is sort of giving some insight into some of the deeper cosmic things that are going on in the universe. I have to say, like I said, there's much maligning. Some people, they don't like this movie so much. Other people are singing its high praises. I don't want to say I'm a little, not in the middle, but a little more leaning towards high praises and less maligning. And that's mainly because this movie suffers from the shortcomings that nearly every Marvel movie suffers from. It's got a bad villain. And I don't mean bad as in like, oh, they're not serious. It's more as in, yeah, you sort of get their motivations, but they're not terribly strong. Or maybe that's the wrong word. They're very strong, like very dire strong. This this bad guy Dar-Benn is in, and which by the way, is from the comics, but gender bent and whatnot. But she is basically, I guess, running the Kree Empire in the wake of the Supreme Intelligence being destroyed by Carol. And basically the Kree Empire is fallen into, dark times, civil war and so forth, because of the Supreme Intelligence disappearing. And it's caused, dire, economic and climate disasters and all that other stuff. And they all call Carol, the destroyer because of what happened. And she's been for 30 years trying to figure out ways to sort of claw back this decay. And she basically blames Carol for everything. And so that sort of gives her a motivation of, yeah, I need to fix my, our home planet and everything, but also stick it to Carol Danvers. Like, of course, the destroyer needs to be destroyed herself, which is kind of hard to do because Carol's pretty much not beatable by normal means. But, they figure that out. they figure out a way to sort of make the playing field more even by unintentionally, very unintentionally. This movie's second shortcoming is too many coincidences, I guess, but very unintentionally entangling the powers of Captain Marvel, of Monica Rambeau, and of Kamala Khan. And it's because of a quantum band, I guess they call them now, the little armband, and it's connected, and it connects all their powers. It's there's a lot of don't ask questions stuff in this movie. But so that being said, the motivation basically turns out to be petty and stupid because a galactic empire should be able to fix its own environmental problems. If you can conquer other planets and other solar systems and other people, you probably can fix and terraform your own planet. I'm just saying. So it turns, Dar-Benn turns out to be more petty than revolutionary or anything, but she's quite formidable and makes for some good fights later on. So I mean, there's those shortcomings. It's this, this is a very quick an hour 42 minutes, unlike most MCU movies. It's pretty light in terms of like the plot. I mean, it really is. Hey, there's a bad guy with the doomsday weapon, and they're going around screwing stuff up, and we got to stop them. That's it. That's pretty much it. Most of the rest of the drama is about Carol and Monica sort of repairing their relationship as they figure out, the animosity that Monica has because of how long Carol's been and her mom's dying and everything. Carol feeling a ton of regret and responsibility for what she did as far as the Supreme Intelligence. And, Kamala Khan's just kind of along for the ride. And so that's more or less the entire bits of drama. And that being said, it's light, but it's good when it's where it is light. This does some stuff just kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy films, where it sort of unfolds more of the cosmic space than we've seen before. We get to see new planets. We get to see Hala. We sort of saw it in Captain Marvel, but we get to see it kind of in Decay. We see several other planets that are being targeted for destruction. We see some scrolls. There's plenty of setup for cool action sequences, kind of fun little set pieces, heroics and the like. CG, mostly pretty good in this movie. It does look green screeny in some places. I don't care. Like I don't catch on that sort of thing too much. It's not a big deal to me because as long as I know and understand what they're going for, and I can kind of roll with it. So, and when it comes to that, the action sequences are very inspired actually, because of the entanglement. The three ladies have to figure out how to fight, because if they use their powers at the same time, they'll switch places. And so it makes for an interesting sort of fighting that reminds me of kung fu movies where you'd have two or three people fighting one person at a time, and if they don't work in sync, they're just going to step all over each other and screw each other up. There's a really cool fight scene early in the movie that involves the Khan family house, a planet in space, and then a Kree warship. And the ladies, they're having to fight these bad guys and keep switching around. And the Khan family gets involved. It's really fun and interesting. Very, like I said, it kind of inspired sort of, choreography and action sequences. It does get a bit pew-pew here and there, but again, this is a Marvel movie. That's what happens. I don't take marks away for that sort of thing because I've seen it in so many Marvel movies. This is a Marvel formula. They don't let that really get in the way too much. I'll give Nia DaCosta a lot of credit for. I'm going to assume she didn't write this. I don't think she wrote this. So working with what I consider a fairly light story, she still manages to inject some real fun into it. But also just interesting, like I said, action sequences, a lot of interesting sci-fi elements. And she does good character work. There are particular I didn't cry in this movie. but there are some moments that got me pretty misty eyed. Where Carol and Monica are sort of figuring their stuff out, and Kamala's just kind of there, as the glue, if you will, to sort of help them come together. There also is there's some really fun, silly stuff like you'll probably see it, the kind of the Disney princess thing that Captain Marvel Carol Danvers does at some point. It's really fun. It's like it's really it. I thought it was going to be a Bollywood thing. It was not a Bollywood thing. It very much is an homage to Disney animated musical numbers, and I thought it was very fun. Very interesting choice in a movie that I'm convinced was already going to get a lot of criticism, and that was very much a deliberate choice to say, don't give a fuck. We're going to do what we want because it's fun. So I mean, look, the short story's not the most vital. If you are looking for MCU connections, there are some there. I mean, you get Nick Fury in there and everything. He's cool. You get Goose the Flerken. He's cool. All that stuff. There's stuff related to Sword, and there's stuff on Earth and everything like that. And great. The shortcoming is basically being that it's a very light story. Not a great villain, and of course Monica and Kamala, not very well known. They are from the TV shows, and so the connection that the wider audience has to them is non-existent. So you kind of have to explain who they are and everything like that. It takes a little time away from the story. Not bad. It just is. They're not a draw. Captain Marvel is, and I think that this movie kind of shows that maybe she's not as big a draw as that the box office of her first movie suggested. All that being said, I haven't said what I consider to be the highlights of this movie, and by far and away, the highlight of this movie is Kamala Khan. Iman Vellani is just a treasure to the MCU. She embodies this character to perfection, flawless, no notes. Everything she did in this movie was right and correct. Perfectly well done. She is the glue that holds this little team up together. Her fangirling out was adorable. Her being a hero, absolutely great. She just earnest. She is. I often tell people she's just, she's Spider-Man. Essentially, she's the Spider-Man archetype, and so she wants to save everybody, and having to learn the hard lesson of not being able to save everybody was huge. Being able to meet her heroes that she's idolized and finally get to humanize them and learn more about them. Learn that they are just regular people that make mistakes. Basically become a little sister to these two older ladies who are kind of at odds with each other. Trusting them, them trusting her, and her just having the emotional maturity to step up, even though she's still in high school, to fight side by side with these older ladies. It's absolutely pitch perfect. If you watch this movie and you didn't fall in love with her, I question you just everything about you as a fan, because she's exactly correct and exactly what the MCU needs. Especially when you start talking about the post credits, the credit scenes. But all said, and I really like that. I enjoyed the Flerken bits. I thought Sam Jackson's Nick Fury in this was much more interesting than in Secret Invasion. Like, he's just a different person in general. And I like that Captain Marvel got to be more of a real person, not just stoic undercover agent or whatever she was supposed to be in the first one. And I really enjoyed Tiana Paris. I thought her transition from a regular agent to like a real superhero was really interesting in this, and I just enjoyed her portrayal of Monica Rambeau. So I'm just overall, it's a really fun movie. It had some really good action, a lot of just fun moments, like the Disney princess thing. That was real good. Wish it had a better villain. But overall, I did enjoy it. I'll watch this again. I think it was a good follow up to the first Captain Marvel, and I'm fully convinced had this come out 3 years ago, this would have made so much more money. But it is what it is. I do want to talk about those credit scenes, real briefly. So spoilers if you hadn't seen it, but I mean, come on, just listen. The first one is that Kamala is doing her Nick Fury thing, and she's trying to get the Young Avengers together. Loved that. Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. Loved her in Hawkeye. Think she's a great new addition to the MCU. So glad to see her interaction with Kamala Khan. It was just look, it's a good time, to just be a fan in that particular moment. So there's promise of Young Avengers coming. And then, of course, the mid-credit scenes where we saw at the end, Monica sort of sacrificed herself by going into a parallel dimension to seal the rift in space-time. And she wakes up and she is apparently in the X-Men's, underground layer or something, with Beast there to, basically check on her and make sure she's all good. And her mom, except not her mom, in this alternate universe where there are X-Men, her mom goes by Binary. So clearly in this one, she became Captain Marvel and then ran around with the X-Men. So Lashana Lynch does return to the MCU again for another multiverse thing. Really cool. The X-Men are definitely going to be a part of the multiverse saga, Secret Wars, all that good stuff. And I mean, come on. If you're a fan, especially a longtime fan, this is your joint. I thought that was all really cool, setting up some stuff for the future. So it does tie to other movies, just the main story didn't necessarily. But it's definitely laying the tracks towards Kang Dynasty, or if it continues to be Kang Dynasty, and of course, Secret Wars. So that's all my thoughts about this movie. What did you guys think about this movie, and what did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section and leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, supernotfunnyshow on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. You can hit me up. All right, and while you're down there, hit that subscribe button, hit the like on this video, and hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see videos just like this. All right, thanks for joining me. Come back to the channel. I got plenty more reviews for you to look at. Till then, I've been Mo, your commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.